Hi, Kheisha.
Hi.
Hi. So yeah, we're going live. I guess we'll wait second or two for everyone to come in. I know yesterday I made a schoolgirl error, but because I was like, no, why is no one seeing our live? And yeah, I know why.
I was doing the same thing when I was doing my live, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, oh, good. Was that with Restream as well?
Yes, yes. I
Mm.
had it on the wrong Facebook page, so I was looking for it and I
Oh,
couldn't see it. And I was like, you know what? Something said check that other place, and it was on my actual Facebook page.
oh no.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, so is that the one where does Facebook have kind of two because I haven't been on there in a while.
I
Is it
know.
something where you, what is it? Is it another addition to Facebook, like the business, when I had the business pages?
Yeah. Yeah. They
Oh,
allow you to stream straight from your business page.
oh, okay. Oh, you were telling me about that actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. That
Yeah.
makes sense, doesn't it? That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Oh, perfect. And I'm
Yeah.
just gonna check actually to see that we are streaming.
Okay.
Let's see. I won't be a second. Just in case. I'm not sure what's going on here or if it's working. It should be. Uh, let's see. Um, it is connected. Oh, right. Okay. So I think I've got it. Yeah, there we go. But I need to take myself off that side. Yeah, I think it'll be should be all right. Uh-huh. Yeah, Kheisha.
Yep.
I think we are ready. So
Okay.
yeah, so let's begin. So thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And I know we're kind of seeing double because last week you were actually doing a live with Simone. So oh no, we were doing a live too last week. We were, weren't we? Can you hear me? Oh, hang on. Sorry. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, it was muted.
I don't know how I got disconnected.
Yeah. It's doing its own thing. It's doing its own thing. As we know, what is it, Keisha? The Mercury retrograde.
Yep.
Is that how it works?
Pretty much.
Anything and everything goes, right?
Absolutely. It makes me, it was really bad for me this time. Normally it doesn't really
Oh.
affect me that much.
Mm, mm. But you've been teaching me about it because I didn't even know what it was. So I've been loving and really enjoying your live. So yeah, thanks for joining me today. And
Thank
as you know, we're here to do our hair live. And for us, we normally touch upon, because I know last month we were doing a lot to do with the lockdown and the mental health side, just surviving our lockdown in general from different aspects, from like the working side, and I know you're working, and then the working from home aspect as well, or just being in lockdown in general. So for me, one thing I do think that, in my opinion, that has changed so much is hair, how we care for our hair in general. So I'll let you start off. So let me know like your background in general.
So believe it or not, I think I might have talked about this a little bit in the interview with Simone, but I don't often really talk about it. But when I went to high school, I went to a vocational school, and all that means is that you get to do a bunch of different skills trainings, right? And my second choice was cosmetology, which is hair, nails, the whole bit. And I had to learn how to do all that stuff. It was something that I was passionate about back then. I had sisters. I was the oldest sister, so I was responsible for taking care of them most of the time, which meant learning how to do hair. So I practiced on them. I learned how to braid and all that stuff, and I used to do it.
Wow. So I've seen your sister, you do live with your sister. So you've got in total how many sisters?
Oh, Jesus. Then,
Or how many of their hair did you used to do?
just the two.
The
Um,
two.
yeah, so I have four sisters under me. So there's five girls and one boy. Me being the oldest girl, and their hairs are the longest. I would do their hair a lot for my mom.
Wow, that's amazing. And was that all self-taught as well?
Yeah. Outside of cosmetology, I mean, they didn't really teach us how to braid. That's not what cosmetology does, but um,
Yeah.
you can practice on the dolls, on the mannequin. And I just used my sisters. I just started braiding. I just jumped in and started. And I also learned how to wash hair, how to massage it, um, facials, and your nails. The toes, for some reason, was the only thing that really stuck with me outside of knowing how to take care of my own hair. Um, I really liked doing my toes a lot. That's probably the only cosmetology thing that I do on a regular basis. For some reason, I will keep up with my feet. I do.
Yeah. And that's a skill set right there because it's not easy to do. I'm not bad doing my toes, like painting my toes, but I'm so bad painting my fingernails. Like
Oh, me
these
too.
haven't seen nail varnish in forever. And it's gonna stay that way, because even with a clear one, I get it all over the outer skin. I'm like, what's wrong with me? So that's incredible. So you did your sister's hair, two of them, and how was that? Was that something that you were just found yourself getting interested in, or was it something that it was just fun to do as a child kind of thing?
Right, mostly because I was good at it. So I was like, when I was younger, before I was the first born girl on my mom's side of the family. So my aunts would spoil me, and they would bring me to the hair salon to get my hair done all the time. And I don't know if anybody remembers finger waves, but I loved finger waves. I would want to get my hair done all the time. I'm like, Auntie, can you take me to go do that thing you did to my hair? And she would take me to the hair salon all the time to get my hair done. So, like in junior high school and pretty much all through high school, I was the one with the really cool, different hairstyle.
Oh, oh wow. So you were setting the trend. And the thing is, finger waves has really come back. A lot of people talk about it so much now, more than ever. Like all the hairstyles that you'd think they're just coming back as popular as ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I
So
used to love it.
Oh wow! Oh, so you were setting a trend, and then it's like I can imagine you knew how to do most hairstyles and stuff.
I did. I was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have
Mm.
anything favorite to do, but I was the only one in the shop in high school who knew how to braid. So I braided pretty much anybody's hair who came through and wanted their hair braided. I liked doing designs. I could do the crisscross and all the ups and downs and the rounds and rounds. I would do all that. I didn't particularly care too much for hair weave, even back then, even though I couldn't identify what that was, but I hated it. Even when my aunts would do my hair with hair weave, it always made me feel unnatural, not real. Like I wasn't being authentic to myself, but I couldn't intellectualize that, which is why I really learned how to braid. So I would braid my own hair and do different little styles. I can only do certain parts of my hair. I don't know if you know anybody who knows how to braid, but they would tell you these really fun stories about some people, not all. Some people were really good. They were talented. They could braid their own hair. But for me, it was only certain parts that I could get and get it just right. But I could
That's
never do like my whole head.
Wow, that's incredible. And you know what? It's so funny because I do know people that be like, you know what? I've done all the front, but I actually got my mum to do the back. Or some women can do the back, but not the front. But it's such a learned skill. Or amazing that you taught yourself because I can't. We used to practice on our younger brother because he had long hair, bless him. We were like, you're going to be our experiment. But this is before my mum cut his hair when he was 4. But basically, I could not plait. I was so bad. It is a very, very like as we know, like even like decades ago, it was like special, and it still is, that being able to actually cornrow or braid yourself, because that was something that people did as an art form.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. And did you ever think, did you ever want to take it up professionally, or was it just something you want to keep it as your talent kind of thing, like not hidden talent, but it is kind of, because I didn't realize.
I did, believe it or not. I really enjoyed it at one point in my life. But as I learned once I got out of school, is that I really didn't have enough mentorship around how to carry it out. And it just kind of dwindled, and I lost faith in it. I had dreams of owning my own hair salon and doing people's hair and making people beautiful. And when I graduated, again, no mentorship. So I didn't really have the resources to know where to go, or even if I wanted to start my own business, like how would I do that? So I just stayed doing my sister's hair and my family for a really long time. And then, like I said, it just kind of dwindled, and I ended up losing passion, except for the toes. I still
Oh,
do my feet, but outside of what I learned in high school, I lost touch with it.
oh, I'm heartbroken. But it's beautiful because it's like that's one thing that it's nice to say that, you know what, I can actually do braids, I can do hair, and yes, a super talent. It really is. I wish these fingers could be a bit more, but it's strange. It's strange. It's just interesting how even now people are braiding their hair or doing their hair in plaits more than ever at this moment in time. We're learning to get back to like doing the hair ourselves. So I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people will be like knocking on your door. Yeah, so So, like, growing up, I know you did hair. And what age was that, if you don't mind me asking? Because it sounded like you started very, like, young.
Young. Yeah, I was young. Oh shoot, how old was I in high school? My God, I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
um, Let me see. I think I graduated about 18, so 17, 16, 15, 14, around there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
That's so cool. I love that.
yeah,
That's cool. Yeah,
yeah,
so that's like not even far from that age where you like could have actually gone ended up in the industry.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess you started very young. And
Mhm.
who were your kind of influences growing up? Because that's something that's so everyone has an influence. It doesn't even have to be anyone that like, famous or anything like that. But who were your main influences growing up?
Yeah, it was definitely my aunts for me. My
Mm.
aunt kept her hair and really cool, different hairstyles, and they traveled a lot to like New York and all that other stuff. So they were seeing the outside world and kind of bringing that back to the family. And I really always admired the different kind of hairstyles that they had outside of that. It didn't really have any famous people, just because back then we were pretty poor, so TV wasn't the thing that we went to get recognition from anybody else. So it was always either friends or family, whoever was in the neighborhood. But that would have to say it was definitely my aunts for me.
Oh wow, that's incredible. And what did they specialize in anything again, like hair wise? Like did they
No, they were all
no.
self-taught, all self-taught.
Wow. Oh, so you come from a dynasty of hairdressers.
We did our own here. We improvised. When you don't have
Mm.
money, you got to do what you got to do to still look halfway decent. And we did. We did.
Oh.
It was that.
That's incredible. And how did they actually wear their hair? Like, what was their main styles that you got influenced by?
It was definitely finger waves back then, or like the slick
Okay.
back. Like if you permed your hair and you do the slick back stuff with the
So there got to be the slickness,
the
slickness.
slick look.
Yeah, I
With
think that's
different
happening
colors,
now.
especially my aunt would do like you could do like gold and do kind of all different designs, or
Mm.
the shaving of the sides with different designs. Like my aunts were really, really good at doing stuff like that, like getting creative about doing it too. Like even if they did shave and get the different designs, they would put the different color hair glue in there, and it would be really nice, or
Oh.
just like different colors and wig, like
Mm.
wig pieces. Like my
Yeah.
aunt was
Oh,
really
like the hair peak, like tracks, like the
yes,
tracks when you're putting in a weave,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It was really
Oh,
cool.
oh, so they even knew how to do like shaved down styles, and
Yeah, yeah.
again, that is a skill because, long story short, I'll try to. I tried to do my partner's hair and do like little side bits. Yeah, that was a fail, absolute fail. And I was like, look, it looks like a style. And he was like, no, no, it doesn't. I'll do it myself. So that's another thing where it's like, that it's not easy to do those things. But did you find that you were looking like seeing them doing those styles, and did you learn off of what they were doing as well in that
Oh God, yeah.
aspect?
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt about it. I was the only girl, so a lot of the times I got stuck playing with all my cousins who were boys. But when my aunts weren't busy and they had the time, they would come and get me, and that's all they were doing was getting prepared to go out to a club or something like that. And that was the
Wow.
process. So I would watch them
Oh.
all the time, or I'd be the one babysitting once. My aunt did have her first child, which happened to be a girl. So I was no longer the firstborn girl anymore. I mean,
Mm.
so I would babysit a lot for my aunt. So a lot of the times I was there just watching her do her hair and all her little hairstyles. And it wasn't always necessarily using tracks or the weave to do their hair, because her hair was really short. So
Mm.
you couldn't necessarily get it braided in unless you
Yeah.
had something good enough to catch it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why she really had to get creative with her different hairstyles. So it was just very interesting
Mm.
to watch her come up with all these different hairstyles. It was amazing.
You know what? They probably invented that, and you got ladies probably invented most of it because it's like there were a few times when I'd go to the hairdressers growing up. Sorry to divert, but I'd look at the shorter hairstyles where they'd have it shaven down and
Yeah.
even with colouring, and literally they'd have like a swooping,
Yeah.
like a kind of not a bouffant kind of thing, but the swooping side, or they'd have it up like your bouffant, and basically you'd look and you think it was the natural hair, but it's just little pieces of track that was sewn in. I was like, what? How on earth? It's so, and all you need is like one or two, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like the hairdressing family dynasty
My
on the
aunt would
side.
love to hear that, by the way.
Wow. Yeah, it's incredible. It's phenomenal, and it's so important even now. I think such a
Yeah.
poignant time. So growing up, it was that you'd watch even your aunties getting ready and stuff like that, and like just I bet that was lots of fun as well, and just like it's kind of nice because those days, like I remember like how excited I used to get watching my parents like getting dressed and then the music's on, and then you're like jamming to the music, but you're a child, so you can't go out. You can't go to the party, but like that is like such nostalgia and like really good times and like just so much fun, and then they'd spray their perfume
Yeah.
and then you'd be like, where are you going? You're not taking us. Oh wow. So like what were your kind of main hairstyles as well yourself, when even going from your teens to adulthood? What have been your kind of main styles in general with your hair care kind of thing, and what have been your kind of favorite as well?
Yeah. So I think I would have to say I really liked the up ponytail, especially in braids. I kind of always got my
Ooh.
hair braided once I learned. That was like my favoriteest hairstyle. I don't know why, it just was. Or if it was up in
Mm.
a ponytail, it would be out, but up in a ponytail with like the bun. I really like that look. That was my most favorite go-to. And if it wasn't up, then it was back. And I would switch often a lot from up and back, just having the ponytail in the back with the bun. I didn't really like my hair touching my neck. I wasn't used to it, so when it did, it bothered me. So if I had the bun, the ponytail in the back, I would do like a bun. That was my favorite hairstyle, I would have to say. But I've always like tried all different kinds of things, and as I got older, it got even more spunky.
Oh, amazing.
For years, especially once I went natural. I would wear my hair braided on the sides,
Ooh.
and I would leave the top out, unbraided, and just let it be wild. It was just, yeah,
Oh, I love that style. That's something that I've always loved.
yeah,
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 that's beautiful. I've always kind of wanted that kind of hairstyle as well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
That
is
was
that,
my, before I went and locked my hair, that was the way I wore my hair for
mm.
years.
Oh,
Years.
amazing. Wow. And
Yeah.
so yours is mainly like the updos kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
It's not everyone can pull it off, so I can imagine it looks incredible as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you kind of decided, oh well, I do love my style now, but when did you actually, what made you transition to locks, and when did you actually decide to?
You know what? I had been thinking about it for a really long time, but it really had a lot more to do with my spiritual growth. And for me, once I started on this journey, you hear people talking about the importance of hair and how it's your antenna and you have to take care of it and why that's so important to your spiritual awakening, if you will. And for a really long time, I was like, man, but I don't know. Like, am I going to be able to do like all the different hairstyles that I like? Like, I really, really, really had to depart from all those different hairstyles that I had in my head, that I would never be able to try again. I was like, ah. And it took me a really long time before I did. But I knew that, like getting the perms and the weaves, that my edges were breaking. It was horrible. My edges were horrible. I looked like an old lady. And I remember thinking to myself, if there was any way that I could change that, and just I was really trying to avoid going natural. I was like, is there anything that I can do outside of that? So I even started at one point taking care of my edges and trying to grow them out and doing all different kinds of things to deal with that. And it just didn't work. It really didn't matter what I did. For some reason, my edges just never stayed strong, and it was always up here. The back, I didn't really have that same problem. Anywhere else in my head, like my hair grows. Growing my hair was never really an issue, but my edges, my gosh, they were horrible, and I felt like it was from all the perming and the putting the heat to it, that flat iron. Ooh, when I discovered the flat iron, wow, I thought I was too cute.
Oh.
And I was just like loving it. I would do it all the time. And,
And then
that was
especially
my
the
20s.
edges, right?
No, I mean, definitely the edges, but my
Mm.
whole hair in general, like,
Oh.
I just loved flat iron and I loved the way it looked when it got done. And I like doing
Mm.
that afterwards.
Oh.
I love just the effects of that feeling. And before that, actually, it was the wet look. So I would wet my hair a lot. And I think that damaged my edges really struggled from that. Like, I just always wanted to wet it and look like it was wet and like the curly,
Yeah. Oh,
like,
like the,
stuff.
yeah, like almost, you know what they call it, how they're kind of saying now, it's not quite the Jerry curl, but it's the diva curl, but it ain't the diva curl, it's the Jerry curl. But we won't go into that. But wow. So was it a case of that when you did actually transition over to locks? It was more the spiritual side, and was that something that you just, in what aspect was it something that you felt that it was something calling you?
You
Or
know,
was it something you always had in the background? You know what, these styles aren't for me.
it was very nostalgic by way of me just learning and educating myself. And I knew and understood what the perms and all the chemicals and stuff were doing to my hair. And For some reason, I don't really know why. I don't have an answer still to this day. The only one thing I never really mastered in cosmetology was dyeing my hair. And it wasn't often the thing that I gravitated towards. So typically I didn't really care too much for it. But for some reason, one day I was like, you know what, I really want to dye my hair. Like I wanted like a burgundy red. Um, and I couldn't figure out if I wanted the whole thing like that or if I just wanted streaks. Like I was just, I don't know, maybe I was just going through a change. And I went to the hair salon. That was the only time I needed to go to the hair salon is if I was dyeing my hair, which didn't happen very often. But that one time, I believe it was like back in 2014, I was like, I'm not. And so the lady was telling me, she was breaking down. She was like, "You got such nice hair." She was like, "You don't dye your hair. Like it ruins your hair. And if it's gonna stay in there too long." Like she was lecturing me and telling me about all the effects of it and why I shouldn't do it. And then when she did my hair, dude, I must have sat there in that chair for hours. Like that was so unprofessional. It was not like my hair should have never been sitting there like that long. But she was like in and out. She was eating and talking to people. It was horrible. So
And that was. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kheisha. Was that with a perm?
dye.
The dye.
Yeah, yeah. And so
What?
yeah, I was just like, you know what? I'm just not. Like, and that was the last time that I had ever been to a hair salon outside of getting my locks done. But I had went natural at that point. And I've only had my locks since four or 5 years now. My son and I, when I got pregnant with my son, I locked my hair. And actually, the day I got my hair done, I had my son the next day, which was crazy. That's how bad I was fighting this. Like I was really fighting this whole process. But I knew
That's.
deep down, like these were things that I wanted to do, just again spiritual, to align with my path. But um, even then I had learned something because when I originally got, even though my hair was long, like my hair is like down to here. It's probably longer now, but when I got my locks done, it was down to here, and I wanted the lady to just do my hair and crochet it into locks. But she was like, no, she was like, are you sure you want, again with the whole, you got such nice hair, why do you want to dread it up? She was like, don't do that. She was really trying to talk me out of it. And I was like, you know what, I don't ever want to do my hair again. Like I was over it. So she started it off with yarn. So when I first started my dreads, you can still see some of it, to the effects of it from my roots. I
They
don't know.
look thick and healthy, though.
Huh?
They look nice and healthy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I take
Yeah.
very good care of it. But she started it off with yarn. So she took my natural hair and she rolled over yarn, and that yarn was the dreads, the dreaded look for like a whole year before my actual hair started growing. I should have got some pictures so that you can see it, but it was just yarn, and everybody thought that it was locks, and I was like, no, not yet, but we're working, we're getting there. So after that first year, my hair had grown a lot, but I didn't want to detach from the yarn. I just thought it was so cool. Like I had never considered doing my hair with yarn, and she told me why she did that. She said, yarn is the only thing that doesn't break your hair, even when you take it out. And it's the closest texture that's closest to our natural hair, even in the look after the finished braid. And I wish I had the picture so you could see it. They look like locks. They look like real locks.
Wow.
And it was all the way, she made it just a tad bit longer than my natural hair. And I had the green, red, and black, the colors of the, so it was really, really nice. And my sides are shaved. I kept that. I was like, not taking my shaved sides.
That's amazing. And then, sometimes in the beginning of like a lock journey, sometimes it's nice to have that bit extra because and a lot of people say, oh, that, like the scariest part is the beginning. Like just seeing, like having to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't that bad once I did it though.
Yeah.
I keep the gray yarn in there as a reminder. I have detachment issues.
Oh, it's just like to have it as a sentimental. I think I can see. It's like a sentimental thing, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But your locks look nice and luscious and healthy. They look amazing.
Thank you.
They look very good. And so what are your main go-to products as well for actually for your locks?
So I'm doing the CMOS
recommend.
for a really long time. I went to this lady who made her own products as well. And this was like even before I got the locks, just my natural hair in general, because I learned how that when you have natural hair and you use those other products, it makes your scalp flaky and it dries it out. It doesn't give that natural, allows that. Even if you probably wouldn't believe me, but if you would just touch my hair, even though it looks that natural coarse, but when you touch it is what made all the difference. My hair is very soft and light, right? And it's always been that way. But it even got even better when I started using the natural products because it didn't have the flakes. I didn't have to wash as often. Not that, I wouldn't want to, but I noticed the difference in the healthcare. So it was hibiscus. She put in there with sea moss and something else. She had a really good natural products. Actually, she made all her own stuff. I still have her stuff.
Wow. Oh, so show us. So what's the name of it?
Naturals.
Okay. And there's something that is that something that you can you get it online or where do you purchase it? Okay. So if I can actually, for anyone that does want to use something, because again, I speak to many women that do have locks and they don't want to use, you don't need to use anything heavy, but and that's the amazing thing. But I know a lot of people, a lot of women or even men that really do actually they want to look for the right natural product.
Yeah, the co-wash works best, and you only have to put it on your scalp. You don't have to do the whole dread. You don't have to. It's not necessary. That's kind of like the only thing that changes. So if you have like a brush, you can just part it, and just do the tips, and the root, because you don't need to do the dreads.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. But I really like Pretty Milk, the Pretty Milk company. She has a sea moss co-wash that is just, it's magic.
Oh, wow. So if I get those details from you, then I can put it into my description. Um, and then if anybody wants to purchase it, then they can just get the products from the link, basically, in the
Yeah.
links. Oh, that's amazing. And the thing is, the natural thing, the natural products is the way, because that was where we started from. We never started with the brands. We started with natural products. And one of the things that is important as well is to having scalp detoxes. So those sound like perfect. So I'll definitely find out from you the exact name and everything, and then I'll link it in.
Okay.
And that's incredible. And then, who would you kind of recommend? Who was the person that did you actually do your own locks? Because I know people that do. That is
Yeah.
one of my main questions. Because I know
Well,
you're.
as you could imagine, growing up in a city that doesn't really reflect my skin tone, that wasn't what they were teaching in cosmetology. So, no. I definitely did go to a hair salon, but I know how to do hair. I did the twisties. It's really no different from braiding. In fact, twisties were a lot easier to do than braiding. But yeah, it's just about retwisting and making sure you have something to make it stick. So I like the beeswax. I try to stick to one product and try not to switch it up. But sometimes I also really genuinely just like the natural look, and I don't like doing my hair. I've
Mm.
grown very comfortable in it. But when you work and you have to be in public spaces, those types of looks might not be the best. So that's what I got the head wrap for the days that I
I
don't.
love it. Love it. When I was saying, when I first started, I was like, oh my gosh, and that was giving me so much vibes. I was like, I would love that. Because I do love to do my head wraps. I really love it. So,
Yeah.
where did you actually do you remember where you got it from, or again, if anyone would be interested, because I know a lot of people would.
Oh, the wrap.
Yeah.
My is it my rap tribe or is it pretty rap?
Ooh.
I
Pretty
don't.
little wrap.
You know what? I don't remember. I have. I
Okay.
know. I know she's my friend. Hold on,
Yeah.
because I don't
That's
want to. You know what?
incredible.
When you afterwards, I'll get the right info.
Thank you. That would be fantastic. And then again, I'll link it in, because
Yeah.
I do love, and as you can see, I'm wearing my Tandy wrap, and I do put her link that in my description, because she does various wraps, but I love your wrap style as well, because it's got it can be worn on so many different occasions. Well, so many occasions. I don't know what occasions, but at the moment, but maybe in the US, I know it's a little bit different at the moment, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what's happening here, but the only occasion is indoors. And it's still nice to style yourself at home and stuff.
Yeah, that was the reason why I did it because I wanted to do something different, and I'm still not ready to detach from my gray color. Although I heavily thought of
I love it. I love it.
I wanted to do some red at one point over the summer, but I was like,
Mm.
but I like my gray. Can I do gray and red? So I was gonna do like one strand with like a red.
Oh, I like that. I like that, because I've seen people that do. I was actually mentioning this to Leisha, who I had on yesterday, because she had her locks journey also, and she was mentioning that growing up, she saw butterflies and stuff like that in with some of the locks.
Yeah.
And that's something where I was like, I do love seeing hair accessories in locks or braids, and they just really make it just really brings another dimension to and then it's diverse, isn't it? It's just so
Yeah.
the amount we can do to accessorize in our hair is just beautiful.
Yeah, I like the little gold balls too, or they have like the gold
Yeah.
straps
Oh,
with the
those are
decoration.
lovely.
Yeah,
Mm. And like yeah, I love those. They're like kind of like I don't know what they call them, but they're like they hook on.
yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I love those. So yeah, we'll get those details. And then, would you recommend? Who would you recommend? I know you've got a optician, but would what are their details? And if anybody again wants to find them in your state, how do they kind of go about it?
So I only didn't know how to start my locks.
Ah.
Even that's not true. I was 9 months pregnant, so I had tried, but the baby was just like, no, we're not doing that right now. So I was like, you know what? You're right. I agree. So I went to get it done at a hair salon, and I only went that one time. That was 5 years ago. I
Oh,
not remember. But they have
okay.
a bunch of really good lock to. Oh, actually, Mike's locks. I would recommend
Mm.
him going to anybody in Boston. I think he's the most popular, so he's always overbooked. He's
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and he has a Facebook page. If you wanted to
I
just
was
go,
going to ask that. Does he have? So he has Facebook. Does he have Instagram
I don't
as
know.
well? Okay, he's a Facebook, more of a Facebook person.
That's just where I remembered seeing him,
Yeah.
and it's been so
Okay.
long. I
So,
don't even know.
so it's Mike's Locks.
Yes, he's amazing.
Okay.
And he did all like how like they prepare for like oh my God, what do they call it when they do all those shows in the summertime?
What is it like? Not like, is it annual events
Yeah,
that you have in the US?
they
What about?
actually do it all around the world. There's a
Oh,
specific
the
name.
Not the Olympics.
No, there's a specific name for it for like oh my God, I'm really mad
Around the
that I'm not remembering.
world.
Anyways, it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
People get dressed up in their little
It's not a
stuff.
Mardi Gras, is it? Carnival. Carnival.
Carnival, yes,
Yeah, yeah, because
yes.
we have the Notting Hill one here. Well, we ain't had the Notting Hill last year, and I don't think we're going to have it this year, but ours is in August. I know in the Caribbean they have Carnival around this time. This
Oh,
time?
really?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Theirs is quite
So
early.
my sister
Okay.
is really big in Carnival, but
Yeah.
um, they have like these really crazy hairdos, like they get it in. And Mike's locks, he has all the pictures of every year of whoever's here he did for the carnival, and they're just fun to look at. Honestly, you don't even need to be
Mm.
thinking about locks or having locks, but the different styles are just so cool. It's so cool. It's crazy.
Wow. And the headdresses, they're stunning. They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
They're amazing. That's incredible. Oh, that's good to know. So he might be easier to find because then he's done those events and stuff. So I'll definitely try and have a look and then make sure that I put the details in there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess my last and final question. So at least now we know what products you love to use and stuff like that. And so my kind of last and important question, and for me, is something where it's like, I guess I mean, I've learned a lot from you because you talk about how things are changing um, astrology wise. I'm still learning, but you talk a lot about things changing and changing for the greater good, changing whether we kind of like it or not.
Yep.
Yeah, and in a sense of that, it is the wake up call that we all kind of need as
Yeah.
well, most certainly, because it's taking you out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, what would you, in your opinion, where do you see the natural hair movement in maybe 5 to 10 years?
So I think I talked about this in one of my videos too. Something around electricity, because it's the age of Aquarius. Uranus rules electricity. So when I thought about this, I think of lights in your hair and getting really creative on the different ways that that can look. Because Taurus is in the sign of Uranus, and this is all the natural resources, right? Um, and it doesn't have to be, it could be like the LED lights too. Like, I don't know, it's going to be something wild and weird because that's kind of just what Aquarius rules. But um, on a very general level, natural resources, natural hair care, natural eating, anything earthy, because Taurus is an earth sign. Even with money, and how we, pay for our services, I think is going to change. It could be the natural way and be bartering, but it's Aquarius too. So this is also about electronics. I don't know. Like, I know at one point they had the phones where you could kind of tap another phone and something would happen, or like you could connect in some kind of way. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Oh, I do. That was but just before the Bluetooth. I
Yeah.
remember, like in school, we are like, "Oh yeah, tap the phone." I don't know what. And then when it'll be like, "Oh, you think you could transition credit that way?"
I do. I mean, they already have the little chips for. They're called something. I don't know what the heck they're called, but the little chips that allow you to do the debit card, and you can carry that with you. You can connect it to your phone and do it that way. So just like I see a lot of that coming more mainstream,
Yeah.
especially anything like around electronics, but natural hair and that whole journey, I think it's going to grow more. I think we're going to see a lot more people doing it. I think we're going to see a lot more people interested in more natural hair care products. With the the excitement, the electricity of Uranus, this is not good for our hair unless it is this way. And I don't know if anybody knows, or if anybody said anything who's come on here and talked about locks, but the spiritual journey about it. These are our antennas, and this in this way, electricity is the mode of operating, or a protection of ourselves and our hair and our follicles and messages. And so maybe there could be something that comes out that we kind of learn more about why, locks are so important for us, and things of that nature. So that's a far-fetched story. I'm good at that, but I like the way it sounded.
Yeah, no, it does because funnily enough, Leisha again, who was on here yesterday, she done her locks journey. She was talking about how our hair. Obviously, we know the number 9 is symbolic to our hair, and that our hair actually does grow out in the direction of the sun, in the
Yeah,
direction of where it's meant to be to connect
that's right. That's right. Very
spiritually.
true.
So
Yeah. I think that possibility of that understanding can become more mainstream, more well known, because this is the age of, you know, Aquarius, which rules, it actually rules the entire universe. Uranus does, so pretty cool. and fun to think about, you know.
And do you think that's something that's like so beneficial for like the younger generation as well, that we're kind of setting that trend for them in right now while we
Oh God,
can?
yeah.
That isn't, this isn't just a fad. We're like, right, no, we have had those moments where it became, natural hair became popular, then it went back, then it became popular, and then it died down a bit, but more so than ever, do you think it's going to be a thing of that we're just going to be actually going full force of it, that we are actually going to make the changes we need to?
I do, because our natural resources are not ending. I'm trying to use my words, so bear with me as I find the right word, but a lot of the systems and structures that we were using before are falling, right? We can see that quite clearly. They're not functioning well. So they're in the process of rebuilding that. And in that process of rebuilding, we have no choice but to go back to natural. Even the sign Aquarius alone is a very bohemian sign. So somebody who likes to live in the woods or in a cave where they don't shave and they don't do their hair and they grow hair everywhere, you know, that's very Aquarian, you know. So yes, to some extent we are going to have this, like even now I can honestly say that I'm in the house a lot. And I'm not saying that I don't need to take a shower, but I often think, okay, I'm measuring it. I find myself thinking like, okay, but I didn't go anywhere today. So am I going to take a shower or am I just going to wash up? Right. So these are the kinds of conversations that I'm having with myself in my head, not because I'm trying to be dirty, but this is, it goes to show you, like in a cave, you know, to be bohemian is to be somebody who's, you know, kind of confined from, you know, the everyday world, if you will. So these things aren't, you know, they're not things that are needed. You don't have to shave. You don't have, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that to say that that's what's cool, but because we're stuck in the house all the time, these are definitely going to be things that we're going to rethink. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like, why would I get dressed? Like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
And yeah,
So,
totally. And do you, I always say this as well, Keisha. I always relate it back to economics. And this is one of the main reasons I love like even our connection and stuff, because you speak a lot about that. The economics is like the amount we consume on hair care. It's like, why? um it's just, it's unneeded, it's unnecessary. So we don't always need to be spending on this, or wasting money on water where we don't need to waste money on
right.
water, or wait, you know, we
Yeah.
save the electricity where you need to save your electricity. It's being
Yes.
smart with the
Yes.
economical side. It's so important.
Yeah. And we are very wasteful. You know, especially
Mm.
here in America. I know in China they turn their whole faucets off if they're not using it. You have to return the whole faucet back on in order to even use it. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that they have other modalities that don't consist of taking showers every day. They probably have a whole culture around when that's actually supposed to be done.
Mm.
And I mean, if we think about it and we go back in the days, we didn't have showers. You know, we bathed,
Mm.
you know, in the water. You know, we bathed. So, yeah, for sure. We will be forced in some way to think differently about it. Not because it's cool, but again, economically, we're going to have to because
Yeah.
resources are dwindling.
And we know, even in the UK, I don't know if it's the same with yourselves, but energy prices are going up again, and it's something where it isn't gonna have to. And our water rates, so we pay separate. We pay water, of course. The water rates are gonna go up because you're using more, but the
Right.
water rates in general and the energy, the gas, the electricity is going up.
Yeah.
So, you know, companies will make the most of what they can, but
Right.
I hope we can kind of flip back to really reevaluating and being shopping around, being money conscious, being
Yep.
being less consumers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it helps us learn too. I remember thinking to myself, like, if I had to live out in the woods, nobody's teaching me how to do it. Like, I don't know how to survive, right? Those basic survival skills. I think we are so far away from that, and we could really use it, not because of anything other than the fact that they're good skills to practice. That's how you kind of learn how to be more economic, because the only reason why we're not is because we don't know how to make those things. But if we knew, we would naturally resort to that. So we're really kind of like getting back to our old ways of living and understanding, which I think is really cool, by the way. I've always wanted to do those things, but it wasn't mainstream, so that's not what we were learning.
And it is really becoming mainstream now more than ever. It's so incredible. Yeah. So, and what would be your kind of final advice to anyone who is thinking of going natural or just in general?
I would say, if you're thinking about it, take your time. You know what I mean? Make sure it's what you really want. But look around. YouTube has a bunch of different tutorials, and then you can also go on like Facebook, and I'm pretty sure IG has some pages people who are already doing this, just to see the different hairstyles. Because for me, that's what it was. It was the detaching of, like, oh, I'll never get to do my hair like this again. So it's not easy. So don't be hard on yourself. Take as much time as you need, but do your research too. I wish somebody would have said that to me. I did a lot of learning about why it's important to have knots, blocks in the history, but I didn't kind of connect to like the different kind of hairstyles and those types of things that I kind of wish somebody would have, had. I probably would have did it a lot sooner, and I wouldn't have waited.
Oh wow, that's great advice, and it's so handy to like be it everything is like kind of does take time, and everything when you do make those kind of decisions, it is scary. It isn't as just like, oh, sometimes you do get that epiphany, like, oh no, I'm ready, but sometimes it does take a lot of mindset work. It really does. Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. Oh, well, you know what? I have really enjoyed today. And thank you so much. And yeah, do I dance? Do I dance? Yeah, so everything that I'm going to make sure I get all the details from you so we can put some links for anyone that's looking for products. And thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I'm so excited. I can't wait for us to do another live together. We got next. Yeah, so I can't wait.
On the 20th, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I really can't wait, and I really appreciate you like having this discussion with me. It's been so great to hear your journey and just everything and your skills. I'm like, woo, okay. So yeah, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for agreeing to come on with me today. So yeah, thank you, Kheisha.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you everyone that's joined. And we'll definitely see you again soon.
Yes.
All right, take care. Bye, Kheisha. Thank you, Queen. Bye. Bye.